In today's video, I'm going to show you how I pot out or plant out my tomatoes and peppers. Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to Robin's Container Garden. Now I know I'm backlit, but this is really the only place I can put it at the moment. I'm going to bring you down here in a minute anyway. What I'm going to be doing today, this is the first weekend in June for me because I can't really do stuff like this during the week. So it's after our 2-week buffer period for the frost dates, and boy is it warm today. I don't know what the temperature is, but I will find out and I will put it just below on the screen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant out my slicing tomatoes today. My cherries are not quite big enough to be outside yet. So the slicing tomatoes are Marglobe and Arkansas Traveler. I gave them a head start because they have a longer growing season and we don't have as long a growing season. I'm going to do it a little bit differently this year as far as growing them, but planting them out is pretty much the same as I do every year. But I do have some bloodfish and bone here, and I also have some of my eggshells. I always put the eggshells underneath the plants when I'm planting them out to give them that little extra boost of calcium as the season goes on. I only do it the one time, just when they're being planted, and I find that it does actually help. So that's what I'll be doing, and I'm going to get that started just now. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer and let you see what I'm doing. So I've watered this, pre-watered this, because we've had some really dry weather, and I'm going to water the holy bejesus out of it when I get this planted. So the first thing I'm going to do is just move some stuff back. This is not the time not to get your hands dirty. Now I am going to try to bury this a little bit deeper than the actual roots. A lot of plants you will plant to the soil level. The little shimmery hairs that you see here are all have the capability of growing roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the bottom bits of leaves here, and I'm going to plant that up to about right there, I think. So that's the plan. The first things first, put some bloodfish and bone in there. And some eggshells. Now he's in quite a big pot, but we're going to turn it over and do as we normally do. I haven't watered him today, so like I said, I'm gonna water the holy crap out of this thing. Now you can see that it's not as deep as I want it, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I push it right down in there. I'm going to go get some more compost and top that up a little bit. So this is potato compost from last year, and I'm just going to top that up all the way around. There may be some sticks and things in there, but I'll pull them out as we go. Yeah, there's a stick. Ow! That was a rosebush stick. Couple more. There. Now we'll spread that around and push it down. There. Now the next step is to stake him. And we want to stake while they're quite young because the stakes can do a little bit of damage to the roots if you wait till they get a little bit older. You want to put that in as close as you can and go down as far as possible. Now I like to stake in two spots, two places. And this year, instead of the normal stuff that I use, I don't even know what I'm calling it, the twine. Instead of the twine, I'm actually using reusable cable ties. And we're just going to kind of see how these do. I'm not going to make it too tight, but I am going to make it tight enough where it's going to get the benefit of the stake. And you just wrap it around like that. And hopefully that will stay put. We'll see. And we're going to do the same up here at the top. And pull that right in to the stake. It won't go any further down than that. Oh, I've already got a sucker. I need to get that out. Won't go any further down than the next branch down, so that won't go too far. Okay, so now he's staked in, and that is our Marglobe. That was one of two of my favorite slicing tomato plants from last year. Now I'm going to get the other one planted in, and then I'm going to water them in really well, so I'll be back. This is my Marglobe tomato and my Arkansas Traveler tomato. And that's them all watered in, planted in, and tied up. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is plant my peppers. Now, I've got two of the Mysterio ones that I had last year, and two of the saved seeds that I saved from the yellow pepper. So that's my big experiment. So we're going to do the same thing as we did with the tomatoes. We're going to dig in an area pretty deep. I'm going to plant them a little bit deeper, just like a tomato. And obviously the bloodfish and bone go in there. And the eggshells go in there. Grinding them up like this, I've never found any bits and pieces of them after a season. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the two Mysterios right next to each other, and then the two pepperonis next to each other. I know that sounds silly, it's calling it a pepperoni, but that's what it's called. That's the name. Okay, so here is the Mysterio. It's a nice size. I've got some buds starting up here. I haven't decided whether or not I'm gonna take those off yet. Okay, bring that in, push it right down, and then get some more compost and surround it. Now the peppers are not as tall. They won't get as tall. So their stakes are only 4-foot stakes. They're not the big tall 6-foot stakes like I have with the tomatoes. There we are. Okay. We're going to do the same thing, just push that in as close to the plant as possible. Go down as far as possible, and I'm only going to use one of these, and I'm going to use a smaller one because it's not as bad. Like I said, it's a smaller plant, so and I'll only use one. If I need another one when it gets a little bit bigger, I'll I'll put another one on there. But for now, I'm only going to leave just the one attached. Probably could actually bring that up a little bit. I think I'll do that. That's the beauty of using a reusable one, is that you can change it if you decide you don't like the placement of it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. There. Now, if I was using twine, I would have had to use another piece of twine. But because I'm using that, I can just move it however I need to. And that may end up being the way that I do it. I may just move it up as it grows. We'll see. So once I get the other peppers planted in, I will water them in really well, just like I did with the tomatoes. So I'll see you in a minute. Here are my pepperoni de gallos. The Mysterio d'Italias. Okay, it's actually really quite nice to be in the shade now. This container and the one identical right next to it are my courgette containers. I grew courgettes in the ground year before last. Well, I only grew a courgette in the ground year before last. I had 2 last year, and they were both in these containers, and they did really well. The ambassador that I had last year, it did okay, but it didn't put on as much fruit as the striatos, so I decided I was going to just do 2 striatos this year. So I'm going to also put them right next to each other instead of having them. They were split apart last year for some stupid reason. I don't know why I did that. But I decided I was going to put them next to each other this year to help with pollination. So I'm hoping that I won't have to do too much manual pollination this year. And you're wondering maybe why I'm putting bloodfish and bone and eggshells in the courgettes as well, but anything that fruits, I put that in there, and it really helps. So unlike the peppers and the tomatoes, you don't want to bury your courgettes too deep. They actually grow out the way instead of up the way, so you want to make sure that they have plenty of room. And this one is a little bit deep in that pot, so I'm going to have to be super careful. Oh, look at the beauty root structure on that. Okay, so I'm going to just sit this down just at soil level. Try to straighten it up a little bit. Now, there we go. Now then. Oh, get off. I didn't mean for you to go on there either. Alright, that's as simple as that goes. That's one of the courgettes planted, and I'll plant the other one in the plant pot that's just there, and then I'll come back. So that's 2 tomatoes, 4 peppers, and 2 courgettes all planted out today. I feel quite good about that. They were ready to go out. I will move the cherry tomatoes into the greenhouse after I pot them up today and let them get a little bit bigger before I put them outside, but it won't be long, probably another week, before they are planted in their homes as well. So we're getting there. I've got another few peppers to go. I've got some flowers and that to get planted out too, so those will be going on the next week or so. I'm not going to be rushed. I'm not going to rush myself to get everything out. It's really warm. It's not very comfortable when you're wearing glasses, especially. I used to wear contacts all the time, and I stopped wearing the contacts because I could see better with my glasses. So it does cause a little bit of problem when it's hot outside. That's the courgettes out. Hopefully they'll start really flourishing now that they're in a bigger container and they're outside. That's where they want to be. The next time I see you, I will be making some changes to the greenhouse. So until next time, remember, you don't have to grow all the things, just grow something. Bye, y'all.